College opened its door to students way back in 1950. And so it's an institution with a lot of history. For over 63 years, we've been touching lives by preparing men and women, young men and women for ministry all over the world. This institution began by missionaries. For example, the Sharks, who were missionaries to Trinidad and Tobago, to Grenada, they began this school, I think with the Coolidges. And so this school were able to maintain itself over this past 63 years. Our first local president was the late Reverend Carlton Cumberbatch, and after him was his wife, the Reverend Theodosia Cumberbatch. And these people distinguished themselves over the years and served the Caribbean and poured out their life, I may say, to serve the Caribbean, not only the Southern Caribbean, but the Caribbean. And we have had students from all over the world, from England, USA, students from as far as Panama, Costa Rica, and of course, the Caribbean, the beautiful Caribbean.
There are 10 programs. Of the 10 programs, we have 4 degrees. These are the Bachelor of Arts in Theology, Bachelor of Arts in Social Work, the Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Counseling, and the Bachelor of Arts in Christian Education. These are 4 main programs. We also have 2 associate degrees, that is the Associate of Arts in Social Work and Associate of Arts in Psychology and Counseling as well. There are 3 diploma courses, and the Associate and the Diploma are for 3-year duration. Diploma in Theology, Diploma in Christian Education, and a Diploma in Church Ministry. There's also a certificate in Church Ministry.
If you're interested in coming to study at West Indies Theological College, our cost is pretty comparable with all the schools in the area. Living on campus is very accommodating. It's not very expensive, when you think about, the cost of living today. For a foreign student, it would probably cost you, and I'm saying all-inclusive here, that is tuition and all the cost on campus, about $7,000 US per year.
But I think, first of all, it is a Christian institution. And for example, we do psychology and counseling, we do social work. This could be done elsewhere. But the fact is that we are a Christian institution. Our lecturers are Christians as well. The ethics we have, the belief system, it's different. It's a unique experience. I would say numerically, it makes a difference. And by this I mean we have a small number. For example, our student population, let's say, is around just under 50 students. But because of this, and we have about 28, 27 faculty members, it means therefore that students get far more individual attention. A student can come to a lecture at any point in time. They can email them, they can call them, they can Skype, whatever system they can use. When you have small classes, there's that more contact with the teacher. I think this is what makes a difference, as against having a very large class.
I work here because I want to. I do it with a passion. I care about what happens at WITC.
You asked just all the best thing about WITC. I think it's the environment, the ambience. It's a very pastoral setting. The mountains is very cool. In fact, Santa Cruz is the largest valley in Trinidad. Some people don't even know that. And I think this is what gives it that sense of serenity where you can come and study. It may seem remote for some people, but when you get here, you can really settle down. Many of the students have said the 4 years they've spent here, or 3 years, are some of the best years of their lives. And I would vouch for that because it truly makes a difference. In a large measure, I am what I am today because of West Indies Theological College.
Here is an invitation to every single one to explore all the possibilities that WITC has to offer. Come and meet some wonderful people. Beautiful weather, a lovely faculty, and let me emphasize again, we are a family. God bless you. Look forward to seeing you very, very soon.
Well, hi, my name is Andrew Gale, and I'm grateful to be here connected to two wonderful global leaders to hear about some of the work that the Church of God is doing in terms of higher education and potential options for people to connect with one another in higher education. And so, Reverend Boyce, so grateful to see you from Barbados, grateful for our many conversations about how we support and work together globally and support especially the work of the Caribbean Atlantic National Assembly. And just so you know, I am praying and have been praying for Summerfest and all of the things that are happening, during this time, that the church would be excited and invigorated for the coming year for what God has in store. We've had an 18 months of very bizarre world, and I just keep praying that the church will be excited about what God has next. And I want to introduce my good friend, Dr. Hoag here, who is the president of Warner University in Lake Wales, Florida, and have him share some awesome opportunities of potential connection for you guys in the Caribbean Atlantic region to connect in with one of our Church of God schools.
Well, thank you so much, Andrew, and great to meet you, Dr. Hoag. Awesome to be able to connect with you today. The Caribbean Atlantic region, we work with 15 islands and territories across the region, from the islands of the Caribbean to the islands of the Atlantic. And we are excited to look at this partnership with Warner University. I believe that leadership drives the church, and we have been having challenges in our area as it relates to leaders. We have an aging leadership population. We don't have like a large number of youngsters who are coming through to do ministry, but we do have persons who are very keen on doing ministry. Many of them have already started their families and so on. And so I believe that some of the options that you will give will really be beneficial to us. We believe that God will raise up leaders and he will want them to be trained so that they can be the best possible leaders to lead his people.
Thank you very much, Reverend Boyce and Andrew. It's a privilege to be with each and every one of you. So Warner University is over 52 years old, and we're located just about an hour south of Orlando, Florida. We have about 1,000 students from all over the United States and about 30 different countries. And one of the special things about Warner is it's not just a place for 18 to 22-year-olds to come to Florida, but yet we have online options for people all over the country and all over the world. And we really feel, based on where we're located, that we could be a great partner to serve all of you in the Caribbean, in these 15 different territories. And so we wanted to start to have this conversation to see if we could help you with some basic biblical literacy, or possibly an undergraduate degree, or maybe you want to take a few graduate courses and better yourself and get a little bit more continuing education, or maybe you do want to go ahead and get a full-blown degree. We are more than willing to help scholarship and subsidize the cost of this education, and we just want to be a great partner with you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Hoag. And we may have different categories of needs. For instance, we may have persons who already did a degree, West Indies Theological College, or maybe another institution, but may want to do a master's program. Mm-hmm. We may also have persons who did a bachelor's degree, but may have done it some time ago. And as a result, may just want to do some refresher courses, something like that, or may want to look at a specialized area of ministry. We may have persons who are new to pastoral training and may want to do a full degree program, or maybe there may be just some persons who want to, let's say, do specialized courses, may not necessarily want to pastor, but may see some courses that look interesting. What are the options as it relates to studying with Warner?
Sure. Well, you really hit on each and every one of those options. If you just want to take one class or two classes to maybe sharpen up and get some continuing education or a refresher on maybe courses that you might have taken in school, you'd be able to do that. If you already have a bachelor's degree and you'd like to pursue a ministry degree, for instance, our master's in ministry is 10 classes. You can do it even though you're full-time in ministry. We have it set up in such a way that in 2 years, you could easily get those 10 classes done and continue on in the ministry work that you're doing, because we want to be able to empower and raise up this next generation of pastors that we really need, whether it's in the United States or whether it's in one of your territories. And so we want to be a partner, or you might even be a person that just wants to audit a course. You might not want to do that paper or that project, but yet you still want to sit in and take a class online. We'll have that available for you if that's what you would like to do. Now, most people think that college just starts like in September and January. Well, that's not the case. The way we have this set up is we have these 8-week segments. So like we're starting a term the end of this August, and then that'll go for 8 weeks. And then in October, we'll have another 8-week section. And then we start again in January, go for 8 weeks, and then another session. And then there's even a summer term if you wanted. And so by doing it in those segments, it helps break things up and makes things a little bit easier for you to manage as you're trying to work full-time in ministry and take a class or two at Warner University.
Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. If there's a person who, let's say, the person has done a bachelor's degree in another discipline, is it possible for that person to do a master's in ministry? Let's say the person did it at another university in humanities, something like that, but the person's interested. Can they just come over and go straight into a bachelor's program or a master's program, or would they need to have a bachelor's base in theology?
No, the short answer is they should be able to go right into it. And what we'll do is we'll take a good look at their transcript and the program that they were in before. But most of the time, you're able to jump right into that ministry master's degree, regardless of the undergraduate work that you've done. Now, we do feel it's important to have an undergraduate degree before you take a master's in ministry. And so we would recommend, if you don't have an undergraduate degree, you probably need to start with a undergraduate ministry degree.
Okay, great. As it relates to distance learning, I know that there are some persons who do like extension programs where you have maybe a tutor come to a territory, meet with students, maybe do a session or two before you actually go into the online learning. Do you offer this kind of ministry as well?
Sure, we would do a couple of different things. We have some introductory Zooms that would take place to kind of help a person kind of understand things a little bit better, to get them comfortable with the Moodle platform that we're using. And one of the things that we'd be open to, if we did have enough critical mass at one of the islands or in one of the territories, we'd be willing maybe to have one of our faculty members go and kind of jumpstart that 8-week session. But we would need to probably have half a dozen or so for that to take place. Now, when you're taking your course, it wouldn't just be people from your territory that would be taking the course. You could be studying with someone from Anderson, Indiana, or Atlanta, Georgia, or Orlando, Florida, or Miami, and so you're going to be learning with others that are also probably busy working and juggling family, ministry, and education at the same time.
Okay, that's awesome. All right. If somebody asks why Warner, how would you respond, Dr. Hoag?
Why Warner? We're right here in your backyard. We are right in the same time zone. It is going to be so much easier to connect with us than it would be if you're dealing with people in some different territories. Now, one of the things that I always like to say is different than Warner, it's the people. And so one of the things that we try to model is we use this theme, #MyStory. We all have a story. And, you know, sometimes there's some rough chapters in our book, but what better place to write that next chapter than at Warner University when you're going to have faculty and staff come right alongside of you, even though it might be virtually and you might even be in another country. And we value the church, we value Jesus and the movement and what we're trying to accomplish. And we just would be honored to be a partner with you folks.
Awesome. And Warner is a Church of God university for those persons who are listening and maybe wondering. And I was sharing with Andrew before we actually started this call that one of the things that I am concerned about as a leader in the church is the whole idea of our doctrinal integrity. Because there are so many things, there's so many things up there, there's so many things that persons are believing. And so I believe that training for ministers is essential, training and retraining. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that this offers us an exciting opportunity for study. How much would it cost us to do this?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's another reason why I think you should choose Warner. One of the things we've been trying to do with some of our international partners is come up with an affordable way to take accredited courses. And so, for instance, if you were to look at other colleges and universities for graduate credit, you're probably looking at $400 and $500 per hour. Well, think about it. One course is normally 3 hours, so 400 times 3, or 3 hours times 400, that's 1,200. That's a lot of money. We're willing to help our partners and do it for $100 an hour. You won't be able to find a better value than that. And that's because we're called to partner with others in ministry. And if you just want to audit a course, you know, we could do it for less than that, but yet I would encourage you, go for the credit, go ahead and get it, because once you jump in, I know for myself, when I started working on my doctorate, the faculty member that I was dealing with at this one school they said, just take one course. And I was too worried about the logistics and the time and how do I juggle my family and work and ministry. And guess what? I took that one course and I'm like, I can do this. And so I think you'll find if you just jump in, take that leap of faith, take that one class, God will walk with you and find favor with what you're doing.
Awesome. Awesome. And each course you said is 8 weeks, and each course is how many course hours?
Each course is 3 hours.
Okay.
So, and each section is every 8 weeks long. And okay, again, if you want to get a master's in ministry, 10 classes, you can do that.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds like something that we would want our leaders to be exposed to hear about as persons are looking for options for their own development. And I believe that there are some churches that would want to sponsor their pastors to do some continuing training, continuing education, and so on. So Dr. Hoag, we are excited to look at the options of being able to partner with you as we look toward the future and developing our leaders in the Caribbean Atlantic region.
Well, again, we look forward to partnering with you, whether it be online or, if you want to send some of your students to be on campus and work on an undergraduate degree. Most of our international scholarships start at $10,000 a year. That's pretty generous scholarship to kind of get started, and we'd be more than willing to honor that too. So again, we look forward to partnering with you and hearing more about how we can serve.
Okay, now scholarships are just for in-person on-campus students or online students as well?
No. So, if you're taking online courses, we're ostensibly basically giving you a scholarship, and your actual cost is only $100 an hour.
Okay.
If you want to come to campus and take classes as an undergraduate student, and most of those folks are in that 18 to 24 range, what we've done, and we've partnered with our international partners, and as long as they meet our entrance requirements, we've been able to honor them with $10,000 scholarships annually. So for 4 years, that's $40,000. And if you are pursuing ministry, it's possibly could even be greater than that, because we do need to prepare more people for ministry, and there's a huge need out there.
Amen. In terms of students studying online, what's the entry requirement for the university?
So if you're pursuing a master's degree, you would just need to have a bachelor's degree from an undergraduate institution. And we would review your transcripts. And as long as you graduated, you're probably going to be able to be in with no difficulty. And if you're pursuing undergraduate, we'd want to take a look at your high school transcript. And as long as your transcript is over a 2.25, we'd be able to admit you to our undergraduate program.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Hoag. Is there a way that persons can do their own investigation of the college, the website,
sure.
So on?
Sure. If you go to www.warner.edu, that'll take you directly to our website, and you could look at our different academic programs. If you're interested in participating in this partnership, just go ahead and reach out to me directly. And mine email is david.hoag, and that's Hoag, @warner.edu. And I'll make sure that I put you in touch with one of our admissions representatives, and we'll start to find a way that we can get you involved and started at Warner University.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, I want to thank you for hooking us up. And Dr. Hoag, what I would love to do is for us to have a similar conversation with the chairman of our local assemblies. That way, persons who are hearing this will be able to reach out to their local assembly and get some additional information if needed. And so we can see how we can mobilize to get you maybe 50 students before the end of the year.
Let's do it. I look forward to that. So
awesome.
Let's get that set up. I'm more than willing to partner. I know, and have a great meeting this next week, as you guys are meeting from the 22nd to the 25th. We are going to be moving our new students in this weekend, and classes start on Tuesday. And we're excited. Our theme this year is Jesus Changes Everything.
Amen.
And
He certainly does.
And we're looking just to see how God's going to be at work. And again, how Jesus can be so involved in our lives. And we think that while you're working on your degree, whether it's undergraduate or your master's level, those are such informative years and great times.
Amen. 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 Amen.
Well, thank you all.